Yo, what is going on, everybody? Jay Kwan here, and welcome back for another week's episode of a locals game of myself playing Ruby Amethyst versus Amethyst Emerald Discard Evasives. Man, what a weekend for the Archazia's Island Set Championships. Let me know in the comments down below what type of decks that you guys brought and how well you did in the first week there for the set champs. There's still 3 more weeks to go. For me, I went to one of them on Sunday, took this exact Ruby Amethyst build and was able to get 4th place. So I did secure myself an enchanted promo, so that was sweet. All right, so looks like for this particular game, the Amethyst Emerald player went first. He dropped the Diablo in Ursula, ripping the Be Prepared. No, ripping the Friends on the other side, but I do also have a Be Prepared in my hand as well. They'll most likely get discarded probably by another Ursula, or if he does Hypnotize or Sudden Chill, that's probably going to be the first target that I choose to discard, just because it's not going to do me any good early in the game here. Generally in this matchup as well, the Ruby Amethyst, just being the fact that we have so many evasives that we're playing now, like Peter Pan, Iago, Maui Half Shark, Pegasus, it does favor us quite a bit. However, if the Amethyst Emerald player can set up a Prince John and start discarding away, and then saving that Diablo for later in the game to drop, that's probably going to be the best way, the best game plan for the Amethyst Emerald player to go with to actually secure this particular game here. Luckily for him, he does go first, so he is going to be able to have a lot of knowledge just due to the fact with Diablo, and also having my brawls come down 1 turn later after his Diablo gets dropped, if he actually has that on curve, which doesn't look like he did. So luckily for us, we do also have the nice curve of having 3 1-drops by turn 2, so that was nice. Okay, so we ink a Diablo and we play Crab, giving our 1-drop Diablo +3 strength or +3 challenger. That way we can take out the Ursula and then allowing us to draw 1 card as well because our Diablo got banished there. So very nice trade. Love to see it, just due to the fact that Ursula being a 1/3 is a little bit hard to get rid of, especially early in the game if we don't have the Crab or even Fox, which by the way we don't actually play in this particular build. Okay, so he plays the Genie, drawing him a card. And there is a pretty high chance that he does have a Diablo Shift in his hand, but he's just saving it because, as time goes on, I could have Brawls, I could have Elsa, just to exert down his Diablo, and he's not going to get too much value with that. Alright, so I ink the Fighters Keepers, playing the Cusco and Pegasus. So Pegasus is going to allow us to just guarantee a Diablo trade if it ever comes down. Cusco and Diablo is especially good in this matchup because if they get banished on the opponent's turn and they have Diablo exerted, they're not going to be able to draw with Diablo because Diablo can only draw an additional card on our turn. Inks the Cove and plays the Elsa. Nice. Okay, so he exerts the Pegasus, allowing him to take out the Pegasus. So that way now I don't have any evasives threatening his Genie or even Diablo if it comes down as well. Alright, so he takes out the Crab. Now, because we do have 5 ink right now, once we ink this, yeah, we do have the option here to throw down an Elsa, and we could take out the Elsa or take out the Genie, just because that Elsa does have 3 damage from the Pegasus. Okay, and we quest for 1 and pass. I believe we only have 1 card in hand, so he is going to be able to take control pretty fast if he does have a discard. And yeah, looks like he has the Prince John in a discard combo, allowing him to draw a card and discarding our last card in our hand. So we have no cards in hand right now, but we do have the option to get another card back from that Cusco if it does get banished. In my particular build, I am also maxing out on Finders Keepers. And Finders Keepers, even in the weekend for the Archasia's Island set champs that I went to, it's such a good card, especially against either the Mirror, the Blurple match, or in any discard match as well. Because top decking Finders Keepers is going to get you back into the game. It does give you more, or does give the opponent more options to discard, but you just want to make sure that you can just ink turn after turn, and then maybe play, you know, a 1 or 2 drop, slowly getting to that 7 ink, or even 8 ink, to be able to play Be Prepared or Big Sisu. A lot of times, especially if you are versing the steel decks, they are going to be holding that Pete right before the Be Prepared comes down. So that's why I'm also playing the Big Sisu shift line as a 2 of in this particular build, because it does help quite a bit with any Emerald decks, like Emerald Steel, Amethyst Emerald, and any Amber Steel decks as well. And then I figured now, because you know a lot of purple decks are playing Genies and Elsas and Peter Pans, those are also really viable targets to get wiped with the Big Sisu shift line. Okay, so he did have 5 ink, allowing him to drop down the Diablo shift and then the Diablo 2 drop. So again, the Diablo 2 drop is an evasive with Challenger 2, so it is going to be able to take out the Peter Pan if I do have it exerted. So I do have to be very careful about that. He could also potentially exert it down with an Elsa. And it's the perfect time for him to drop the Diablo, because again, I didn't have any cards in hand. Now, the reason why I did ink the Sisu rather than play it is, again, we do want to get to that 7 ink as quick as possible, because we're in top deck mode right now, and we especially do not want to have any cards in our hand for Prince John to go off, right? So we just want to make sure we keep inking turn after turn, unless it's a card that allows you to draw more cards, such as Friends on the other side, or Finders Keepers, Genies, etc., right? So right now he didn't choose to exert his Diablo, both of his Diablos, just due to the fact that, again, I have Elsa and I have Peter Pan. And especially when it comes to top decking evasives, I can just throw it down and have that gain rush due to Peter Pan, right? So he has to be very careful. So by inking that Cusco, it did take me to exactly 7 ink, so we are good to go now if we do happen to top deck the Be Prepared. And potentially we could also keep inking for 8 to again play the Big Sisu shift. So he's slowly taking control of the board, but he is cautious in terms of questing, just because he doesn't want to lose Diablo, especially because he doesn't have the most amount of cards in hand. I believe he has 3 at this point. But keep in mind that when it comes to Amethyst Emerald, they have a lot of very low drop characters, like the Diablos and whatnot, right? So a lot of those cards are very low impact. So even if he does have 3 cards in hand, they may not always be high impact cards, right? And that's exactly what I choose to do here. So I top decked another Sisu, and I'm just inking it. So now that way, if I ever do top deck the Big Sisu, I can just drop it down, and that's going to wipe out his whole entire board. So he inks the Ursula. There's no point of playing Ursula, just because again I don't have any cards in hand. So he does play We Don't Talk About Bruno, bouncing the genie back to my hand and discarding it because it's the only card in my hand, and he's going to draw with Prince John and then start questing with everything. So he is slowly taking control of the lore game, and looks like I was able to top deck another genie, drawing us another card, getting closer and closer to that B prep or big Sisu hopefully. But unfortunately, even if let's just say we did top deck it, we are in danger because both of those cards are uninkable, and we don't have enough ink right now to just throw that down after our genie. As long as he doesn't keep playing Elsas to exert our stuff, then we should be okay. Just because again, like, he has so many evasives on board right now, but because we do also have the genie and the Peter Pan, it's making it so that way he can't really quest too much, because again, all our guys, aside from the Cusco, is going to be able to trade with that Diablo 2 drop pretty well. So unfortunately, he did Hypnotize, ripping that B prep out of my hand, and he's going to draw two, one from Hypnotize and one from Prince John. So right now he's just going super wide. Now I don't believe my opponent is on any locations. Personally, when I was on Amethyst Emerald, I do like to play libraries just in this situation here. Just because, again, like, if you are expecting a B prep or big Sisu to come down, at least instead of going super wide, you can start to just throw down the library and then put everything into the library. So at least that you get a lot of card draw that way if, you know, the board does get wiped. So we do play our favorite Robin Hood Sharpshooter. Unfortunately, not the card that we are looking for right now. And we do need to start challenging his characters because he does have lethal on board, or very close to lethal on board. And the longer that we wait, the more he's just going to start questing 1 or 2 or 3 at a time until he has lethal, and he's just going to quest with everything. So essentially, right now could be our very last turn before we would lose, just because he has a very, very wide board and not too much things that we can do to challenge into his characters. Yeah, and he has double Diablo on board, which is pretty annoying too. Okay, so looks like quests with everything, taking him up to 15. So as of right now, he does have lethal, and we don't have any evasives left to actually get rid of his stuff. So right now we need B prep or big Sisu. And there it is, big Sisu. So after all, it did pay off to keep inking all the way up until 8, and boom, right there, we just wiped his whole entire board clean. And hopefully now we can take back control of the game. And Robin Hood is able to go off and get friends on the other side, which is the perfect time right now, because again, we wiped away his Prince John and also his Diablos as well. So Robin Hood, it essentially reveals the top 4 cards of the deck. If it's any action that's 6 or less, I can play it for free and send the rest to the discard. So luckily for us, we were able to get friends on the other side, which is huge right now, because again, like, that big Sisu swing is going to be able to keep us in the game for a little longer to hopefully close it out. And I do run Pirate's Life as well for this exact scenario, because if we top deck a Pirate's Life or get Pirate's Life off of Robin Hood, we are then able to take back the game fully, because that's going to reduce his lore count by 2. And it looks like I have Dragonfire and Big Sisu, so if he does throw down any, you know, pretty big threats, like high questers like Creaky, we are able to just Dragonfire it away. And as you can see here, like, all the cards that he threw down, Diablo 1 drop, Diablo 2 drop, and Ursula, are probably all the cards he was holding in his hand. Dang, all right, we love to see it. So Robin Hood was able to get another friends on the other side. So Robin Hood alone was able to quest for 4 in total in those last 2 turns and then draw us 4 cards because we milled 2 friends on the other side. So Robin Hood is just an insane comeback card right now. And that's the whole entire reason why I love the card so much, is because it just has a really high upside potential. But it is a glass cannon and it is very high rolly card. But you know, sometimes it does pay off, and when it pays off big. Okay, so I'm dragon firing the Diablo, making it safe for everything to quest, because that Diablo again has Challenger 2, so it is able to trade with a few things, because he also has the other 1-drop Diablo as well, right? So he can take out the big Sisu, he can take out the Robin Hood. And we just completely took control back of the game just from that big Sisu and Robin Hood alone. Because now we're at 15-15. So he has to really get rid of the big Sisu and Genie and perhaps the Robin Hood as well, to close out the game for himself. This is why it always helps to be patient, right? So again, like when you're in that top decking mode, it's really crucial to know, like, to just keep inking cards that's not going to help your board state, right? So it can be a trap sometimes if it's like a character and you really want to throw it down, to maybe put some sort of questing pressure. But in this case here, right, like I inked 2 small Sisus which didn't have evasive, so it didn't really do much to that board state at that time. So that's why I also chose to ink it, right? So he Bruno's away the big Sisu, and then we're going to roll for the dice to see which one gets discarded. Okay, so he does discard the big Sisu, unfortunately, but I think we still have lethal, so he does need to take out that Robin Hood and Genie. Okay, so he takes out the Cusco. Cusco's going to give us a card. And I believe Cusco got us the Pirate's Life, which we have in our hand right now, so he does need to get rid of 1 more character. And yep, there it is. So Pirate's Life, he passed turn, and I threw that down. And there it is. That's game 1. So that was an insane comeback. And again, like, just looking at that, it could have gone either way, right? If I didn't have big Sisu at that right time, he would have just quested for game. But eventually, you know, when you make a deck that you're very familiar with and you know all the card ratios in the deck, it's very safe to say, like, you can slowly start to gamble what your top decks are going to be, right? Like in that game, I didn't see any big Sisus. I saw 1 B prep that got discarded, or 2 B preps, and the chances that I would have another B prep or 2 more big Sisus is relatively high, right? Because it was so late in the game as well that I was probably halfway through my deck. And a lot of times it comes down to, right, like that 1 card that would just turn the tide of the whole entire game into your favor. So luckily for us, because we did win the first game and our opponent was on the play, we are now going to be on the play regardless of taking the win or not. In this particular matchup here, we do want to look for the Brawls, the Peter Pans, 1-drops, and then also the Pegasus 2-drop as well, just because he doesn't have any way to ping it, and we can get that out early. His only out to the Pegasus is really going to be that Elsa to just exert it down. Okay, so I ink a Sisu and play a Chernobog and pass. Inks a Cove and plays a Diablo. Okay, right, inking a Pirate's Life and playing 2 Churnabogs. So now we have 3 Churnabogs on the board now. Man, if these were like Curse Merfolks or like Lilos or Maleficents that was able to quest for 2, that would be an insane aggro start. But unfortunately, Churnabogs only quest for 1. However, his Diablo does have 0 strength, so those Churnabogs might just stick around for quite some time. Okay, so he does shift into Diablo. Sings friends on the other side. So this is going to be pretty difficult for us just because if we banish our own Churnabog after questing, if we draw, he's going to draw now, right? So that puts us in a really bad position here. Okay, so he plays the Hidden Cove and puts the Diablo into the Hidden Cove, giving it +1 strength and willpower. Now all the Churnabogs, yeah, can challenge into the Cove, taking it out. And then there it is. So we do have the Peter Pan right on curve, and it does have exactly enough to take out that Diablo. So we just took back control of the game. Huge tempo swing on our part. I think the Hidden Cove came from the friends on the other side. Otherwise, it probably would have been better to maybe take out a Churnabog, but I guess no, I guess it might have been the same anyways because we had the Peter Pan. So taking out Churnabog after putting into the Cove and then challenging it with Diablo is still gonna leave enough damage for a Peter Pan to take out. So luckily for us, like this is why Peter Pan is just so broken right now in the format, because of all the Diablo decks and other evasive decks, right? And it's just another rush character in the deck that can take out really small characters. And in this case here, you know, was able to take out that Diablo relatively quick. So we do play our Robin Hood again. And I don't know about Robin Hood, like I just always seem to either open it or draw it right when I need it. Because again, like this is the perfect time to put Robin Hood on board to just put that pressure on. Nice, so we cracked the Churnabog and was able to top deck friends from it, and then now we're singing friends and just drawing a whole bunch of cards. And again, like we might as well just crack all the Churnabogs just because he has the crab now able to trade with any of the Churnabogs that we have. So we might as well just take the draw. And now he has to find a way to get rid of the Robin Hood, and unfortunately he's 1 ink away from having that Elsa, which he needs to exert down the Robin Hood, which is why, you know, playing on curve he's just so strong. But if let's just say I'm on the draw, I really don't mind holding on to that Robin Hood until I know that it is safe, because unfortunately in this meta right now, Robin Hood is a very big glass cannon. Just because it can be exerted down by Elsas. There's Brawls running around, Zeus running around, right? So Robin Hood doesn't always, you know, stick, but again, like it's a high rolling card. So when it goes off, it goes off. Like right now, right? Robin Hood was able to get that Brawl and taking out that Genie. And then because we had Peter Pan, we threw down Diago, taking out the Crab. So everything is just working out in our favor right now. And our deck's just doing what it wants to do. And I don't know, just something about resolving Robin Hood's effect is just always so satisfying. But it does whiff more times than you think, right? Just like Ariel's Spectacular Singer, a lot of times you just may not have any songs to add on it. And it's the same thing with the Robin Hood, right? Regardless of how many actions that you have in the deck. And I think right now I have about 16 actions. So keep in mind though that like every action that you draw before you resolve Robin Hood is going to be one less action for you to mill. And yeah, as you can see here, Robin Hood whiffed. And again, it's eventually going to happen, right? It just all depends on the luck of the top decks, right? And that's why sometimes I like to time Robin Hood as well, because let's just say for the Robin Hood, if you for your draw for that turn, if let's just say it was an action, the chances that you'll see the next 4 actions is going to be very slim. So if let's just say I have another card in my hand or board that can draw me a card first, I would do that before resolving the Robin Hood, because that gives me a higher chance that the next 4 would be in action. Okay, so he plays the Creaky, which is going to allow his Diablo 1 drop to take out the Robin Hood. And Creaky's pretty good in this case here, because yeah, his Genie is going to have +3 strength as well, being able to take out Iago or Peter Pan. But I think Peter Pan's probably the choice here. And like when it comes to this matchup as well, the Amethyst Emerald decks, a lot of them, they are playing Improvise. And Improvise is just a action that can target a character and then drawing you a card. So it can target the Iago and banishing it right away. But in this case here, okay, it does look like the Genie is just going to trade in with the Iago, just because that Iago is just so strong with its stats at 4/6. It can trade in with, you know, 2 cards most of the time, and again, because his Creaky is 3/4, that Iago is going to take out the Creaky no problem. Luckily for us, we have another Iago, so. And it definitely helped that, you know, we played the Finders Keepers the turn before, and it was the perfect time to play Finders Keepers as well, because we were just in control of the game, and we didn't have to be too reactive to what he was doing, and we just want the opponent to always be on his reactive. We just want the opponent to just make sure he's reacting to all of our cards and playing threats turn after turn. And that's why we also dropped the library as well, right? Because he played a Creaky. Creaky is one of the very few outs these color pairings have to get rid of a location. And because they usually only play 2 or 1 Creakies, it is safe to throw down that location, right? So he finally takes out the Peter Pan with the Elsa exerting and rushing into something. Leaving our Iago just being the only character. But we have plenty of cards in the hand right now, and we are pretty close to game. Library should have took us to 13, by the way. Forgot about that. And yeah, we got rid of the Creaky with Dragonfire, and we throw down another library, so this is probably going to seal the deal, just because he has no characters on board to be able to challenge into any of my libraries. And in this case here, he needs a fox and like a crab. Okay, so I did gain back the library on the previous turn, so now I'm at 15. So we gained 3 lore in total right now from our locations. I don't know if the Amethyst Emerald player is playing any Peter Pans. He might just be just on the Iagos there, but maybe he's playing like low copies of Peter Pan, so we probably haven't seen that yet. He just didn't draw it. Okay, so we exert down his Iago with Elsa, and then just again, like turn after turn, just getting rid of all his stuff and allowing our locations to just quest and gain lore for us. Well, gain lore, not quest, but yeah. And there it is. So he concedes. He couldn't do anything else. He's only at 1 lore anyways. Luckily for us, again, like we're favored in this matchup, and that's what the evasives are there for, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. A really awesome matchup with both of these Amethyst decks being showcased here. And again, like, thanks for tuning in, guys. Please like and comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck in the next set championships as well for Archazia's Island. Take care. Peace.